What's up, sexy lady?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of TheBraps. This episode, I am going to continue on to my new rider series number 2, and we might have a guest appearance by Mr. Brap, depending on how stupid I sound. But before we get started, let's roll the intro. Today, I would like to talk about an experience I had with another rider that was not me. I was in my car, trying to go over the overall road etiquette, I guess, of people in cages. So the first thing I'd like to share is something I witnessed a couple of weeks ago while I was on my way home from work. We have quite a bit of construction going on over by my new office, and so sometimes I have to take the back roads because I can't get out to get to the expressway. And on these back roads, they're just side roads through town, so you run into four-way stops and what have you. And I came up to a four-way stop, and I was about to proceed straight through, and there was a gentleman on a Harley who was on the opposite side of me coming straight through as well. It was my turn to go, and I had pointed to him that I was going straight through, so he knew, so he could go straight through at the same time, because I wasn't turning. And we both started to take off, and some dumb ass bimbo on her cell phone in her Lexus comes flying through the flying up to the stop sign, did a Missouri rolling stop, and started to go, she went through. Mind you, Harley and Guy and I had already started through, and we were not quite to the middle, so she had enough room to sneak in between us, but we both had to slam on our brakes to avoid hitting her. Now this was not the fault of ours because she wasn't even at the stop sign when we stopped, so we had the right of way. People are just way too distracted. She got mad, of course, because, well, Princess Lexus there got mad at us and started swearing at us and, you know, pointing like it was her right. She was supposed to go through. Mr. Harley was not very happy. He had some choice words to say to her, and unfortunately for her, I had my window rolled down, and I also had some choice things to say to her. Mind you, after, well, the middle of my speech about her not paying attention and she could have killed the gentleman on the motorcycle, she rolled up her window and took off. So the moral of that story is, people are idiots. You can be highly freaking visible and they just don't care. They think nothing but themselves. I mean, Christ, I drive a big giant blue Chevy Equinox. It's not that hard to miss. And she went flying in front of me. And I'll throw in a little quote here from our network supervisor at work. Just assume everybody is stupid until proven otherwise. Another thing I'd like to talk about is, so there's this person, I'm not going to name names, who saw a post I had made about being out riding motorcycles and had made a comment about 2 riders riding too close to their ass in their vehicle. And they had made a comment about how they were going to brake check them. How do you even respond to something like that without making the person mad or upset or what have you? So, I mean, I did keep quiet. I didn't say anything. I am a new road rider. I have seen in this city that we live in many motorcycle accidents for people doing stupid shit just like that. Yes, there are dumbasses on motorcycles. They can be stupid. They can ride your ass too closely. They can lane split at 90 miles an hour in a city, a state that doesn't It's not the law here. You can't do that here. However, those are somebody's children. That's someone's husband or wife or mother or father. And by you getting upset because somebody's riding too close to the behind you, and you slamming on your brakes and causing an accident and killing someone, how does that make you feel? Because you have to live with yourself now that you have either killed a person or you have hurt them badly. It's not the same as brake checking a vehicle. It really isn't. If they hit you, it's not like a car hitting you. You're not just going to crunch the front of their vehicle. So just think about it. And as a rider, you have to be conscientious about how big of a dumbass you're being. And know that there are people out there with that mindset that will do that stuff. You lane split, they will pinch off, and they will open doors, and they will run you off roads. They don't care. You ride their asses too quickly, they will slam on their brakes, and they don't care. They don't care that you have a family to go home to at night. You need to know your surroundings. You need to give yourself enough time, and you just need to assume, like I said earlier, that everyone is a dumbass until proven otherwise. Don't be a dumbass. Let's talk about my progression and where, since the last episode, what I've done and what I'm doing better. And that's where we'll pull in the special guest, Mr. Brap, into this episode so he can kind of give you a what he sees. Because I mean, I can jump in here and tell you I'm awesome, and because I am awesome.
I think from the last time that we did an episode of the New Rider series to this time, the big improvements are been your acceleration from a stop and your corners. The last time we did this and you were at stops and you would kind of duck walk the bike until you felt that it was comfortable that it was going, because you were not accelerating from your stop.
And I still do that. Some I do. We're not saying that I'm not doing it anymore, because I do still do it. I just did it a second ago.
So that's improved greatly, because you used to do it all the time.
Yeah, it's mostly taking off with tight corners.
And then the other thing was you were deathly afraid of corners.
Yes.
She was so bad about corners that she was probably taking corners at 5 miles per hour under the suggested speed limit.
Yes, that is true.
And she used to pull her clutch in and hold her clutch in as she went around the corners.
Also true.
We worked on that a little bit, telling her that, you know, hey, the motor is what kind of drives you through the corner. You need it there. You don't have to be accelerating, but you need it there to go through the corners. It makes the bike a little more stable going through the corners. I talked to her about looking through the corners.
Yep.
Because she was just worried about what was directly in front of her at that time instead of looking where she wanted to be.
Absolutely.
Now she looks through her corners, and her corners are very smoothly, and she's taking them at
the actual speed limit,
not the suggested speed limit.
Most of them.
Whereas before, she was just going super slow, super scared of them, holding her clutch in, going around the corner. So now she actually comes through the corner and accelerates out of it.
Yes. And I have to tell you the cool tip that he gave me that I was not doing before. So before, I was like steering through the corners. And, you know, he had said to me to push down on the handlebars. Well, and that helps you steer, which, yes, it does. So if you're a new rider and nobody's ever told you that, it really does work. But have somebody tell you exactly how to do it, because I thought he was out of his damn mind. But unfortunately, I have some nerve damage in my right hand, and I know we've talked about it before. And if I push down just right on that hand, I lose feeling in almost all of my fingers. So that was very hard for me to do because that's the gas. I mean, I lose control of that and I can't feel anything. I can't accelerate. So he told me to use my foot. And if nobody's ever told you this, you're probably thinking, what the hell is she talking about? Use your foot.
What I had her doing to help get her weight to shift the bike and get it set up for the corner was to put her balls of the feet on the pegs and push down on it. And basically, so that got her feeling comfortable with the bike shifting from one side to the next on her. So that's just foot pushing right there on the bike. And then I had her actually shifting her weight in the seat to the side that she wanted to go to. Just putting herself out there, a little bit on the right, a little bit on the left, and feeling how it pulled the bike into the corner. And I told her once the bike goes in the corner, it wants to make the turn. And then it's just pulling that weight up off center and the bike wants to stand back up. So she has gotten so much better by using her weight to shift the bike into her turns, and now she's actually setting up in corners, she's hitting her apexes and accelerating from her apex mark.
Yeah, so the booty shuffle, I will call it, actually Ray had put a video out and I saw him taking corners and I'm like, babe, what is Ray doing? Why is he hanging his butt off the side of the bike? Like, I've only seen racers do that. Is he racing? And then he told me why he was doing it, and it made sense. So now I ride with the balls of my feet on my pegs at all times. It's just, I kind of had been doing that before because I was always afraid I was going to hit the brake. So I just kind of, that's how I sat with them, and sometimes I would adjust, but now I've just learned to keep my foot there because it helps me get myself around corners. You know, if you're not comfortable, go find an old back roads. Go find the back roads. Enjoy it. And one of the other things I will tell you is take someone with you, but take a person with you that isn't going to pressure you, but will also kick you in the ass when they know that you're capable of doing more at that point. Mr. Brap, perfect example. He knows when I'm just being stupid and is not afraid to be like, okay, you're doing this now because I know you can do it, and that's that. And no, you cannot have Mr. Brap, he's mine.